The story opens with a troubled young woman named Liz heading into a busy shopping mall. She looks overwhelmed and frustrated as she approaches the cashier to return a pack of dog food. When the employee explains that refunds require the item to be faulty, Liz snaps. She angrily slams the cans onto the counter to dent them. A tow truck driver named Aiden silently watches her outburst. Afterward, Liz heads back to her car, pulls out some blood-streaked paperwork and tosses it on the pavement. Unbeknownst to her, Aiden is stalking her from his tow truck, quietly snapping Polaroid photos of her. Moments later, Liz rigs a hose from her car's exhaust into the window, starts the engine, and leans back as the vehicle fills with fumes. It becomes apparent she's reached a breaking point and intends to end her life. Right before she slips into unconsciousness, Aiden rushes over, drags her out of the smoke-filled car, loads her into his truck, and speeds off. Aiden transports her to an isolated farmhouse far from town. As he carries the fainted Liz inside, he accidentally bangs her head against the doorframe, prompting him to tend to the minor injury. He then places her in his bedroom, ties her wrists together, and lies beside her, imagining she is a different blonde woman he once knew. The next morning, Aiden cooks scrambled eggs and brings them to her room. When Liz wakes up and realizes she's tied up in a stranger's house, she panics. She refuses the food, explaining that she's vegan, which irritates Aiden. She pleads to be let go and mentions that her father will be searching for her. But Aiden becomes aggressive, insisting she is his wife, a woman named Helen, whom he claims he has spent months trying to find. Liz tries to explain he's mistaken, but the more she denies it, the angrier he becomes. Terrified, she pretends to accept being Helen and says she's suffering from memory loss. Aiden eventually leaves for his shift as a tow truck driver, giving Liz a moment to breathe. She searches for a working telephone, but it's dead. The front door is locked as well. Desperate, she wanders until she finds a back exit that's ajar. But the moment she steps outside, two massive Rottweilers barking viciously. Horrified, she runs back into the house and slams the door shut. The film flashes back to the previous day. Liz is living with her sister Jackie and brother-in-law Dan. The sisters constantly clash, screaming at each other over the smallest issue. Yet they tolerate it because Liz has nowhere else to live and Jackie needs free childcare for her toddler. Later, Liz steals Jackie's necklace and leaves for a job interview. The family dog follows her into the parking lot, and when she attempts to start the car, she accidentally runs over him. Racked with guilt, she rushes the injured animal to the vet. The veterinarian explains the dog needs urgent surgery, costing $700, money Liz doesn't have. Desperate, Liz takes the necklace to a pawn shop. The pawnbroker offers her $450, but she begs for more. He propositions her disgustingly, offering extra cash in exchange for sex. Liz refuses. When he steps away for a moment, she quickly steals a watch from the display case. When he returns, she sells that very watch back to him and receives another $150. But by the time she gets back to the veterinary clinic, the dog has already died. Back home, Jackie is furious that her necklace is gone. She accuses Liz of stealing it, but Liz pretends to know nothing and heads to her room. Jackie later rummages through Liz's belongings and finds the pile of cash. Enraged, she storms into the bathroom and attacks Liz, demanding answers. Liz finally confesses about the necklace and the dog. Jackie becomes even more furious, revealing that the dog was the last remaining connection to their late brother Mikey. She blames Liz for his death as well, claiming she ruins everything she touches. After a heated argument, Jackie orders her to leave and never come back. Upset, Liz goes to the rooftop, remembering Mikey walking along the railing before fatally falling. He was autistic, and Liz had been responsible for supervising him that day. Dan eventually finds her and gently asks her to move out, explaining she's been staying there too long. Liz tries to seduce him, revealing their secret affair, but this time, Dan pushes her away and insists he loves Jackie. Back in the present timeline, Aiden comes home from work. Liz cooks an underdone chicken dish for him. After tasting it, he steps outside, retrieves a bouquet from his truck, and brings it inside as a romantic gesture. He thanks her for coming home and removes the bindings from her wrists. In the days that follow, Liz continues playing the role of his wife while plotting escape after escape, all of which fail. At one point, he even fastens a dog collar around her neck, presenting it as a gift. One morning after Aiden leaves for work, Liz climbs up the chimney and scribbles the word on the roof using flour batter. Returning inside, she discovers old tapes of Helen. In the recordings, Helen is riding a horse while Aiden films her. She mocks him, calling him pathetic and insane. In another clip, she approaches him as he sleeps and admits she cares for him, but refuses to spend her life.
Mostly I just wanted you to see yourself this way. I used to love you when you were sleeping.
Weeks pass, winter sets in, and Liz is still confined in the house. Aiden ties her wrists again and won't even allow her to use the bathroom alone. Instead, he forces her to relieve herself in a basin beside the bed. At one point, Liz tries to slice through her ropes with a knife and accidentally cuts her finger, causing her to scream. Aiden rushes in to check on her. Seeing an opportunity, Liz panics and claims she's losing the baby, insisting they must go to a hospital. Aiden refuses and says he'll call a doctor instead. He later visits Dr. Holden, his longtime family doctor, begging him to examine his wife. The doctor is confused since he knows Helen abandoned Aiden a while ago, but reluctantly agrees to come. On the drive back, Dr. Holden asks whether Aiden has been taking his prescribed medication, but Aiden avoids answering. When they arrive, the doctor is stunned to see an unfamiliar woman tied up and addressed as Helen. He quickly recognizes something is wrong and tells Aiden to heat water in the kitchen. While Aiden is gone, the doctor quietly tells Liz he will help her escape, but Aiden returns sooner than expected. Holden tries to sedate him by injecting him, and a struggle starts. Sadly, the elderly doctor collapses mid-fight from a sudden heart attack and dies. Liz is horrified. Aiden drags the corpse outside and leaves it in the yard. He then returns with a vacuum cleaner, insisting he can fix her blockage himself. Terrified, Liz fights him off, uses the restraints on her wrists to choke him until he passes out, frees herself, and ties him to the bed. Liz then tries to flee. She takes a knife, steps outside, but the two Rottweilers immediately charge at her again. She lashes out, fatally slashing one of them. The other dog backs away fearfully. She gets into Aiden's tow truck to escape, but immediately crashes into the garage frame, wedging the vehicle in place so it can't move. Exhausted and defeated, Liz breaks down crying. The next morning, she checks on the man she tied up. Aiden is awake and furious, but Liz refuses to release him. She decides to reverse the roles and treat him the same way he treated her. Over the next day, she feeds him, forces him to rely on her, and begins administering medication she found in the bathroom cabinet. Meanwhile, she befriends the surviving dog, taking it for walks and bonding with it. Slowly, Liz begins to feel oddly comfortable in this bizarre routine. One morning, Aiden wakes up asking where Helen is. He wonders if he's in a hospital and if Liz is one of the nurses. She starts to piece things together and realizes the medication is taking effect. He's lucid, gentle, and confused. His entire demeanor has changed. She explains everything to him, and he apologizes if he ever caused her harm. He then confesses that he stopped taking his pills after Helen left him. Liz helps him shower, shaves off his beard, and sees a younger-looking man beneath the mess. From this point on, they begin to get along. Liz eventually frees him from the bed, though she loosely ties his wrists just in case. When he asks about the missing dog, she tells him bluntly that he killed it himself because he hated the mess it made. As days go by, they grow unexpectedly. Liz realizes he isn't a monster when medicated. She begins to genuinely like him. One evening, she gives him a strong dose of Valium so he'll sleep deeply. Later that night, she sneaks outside to bury Dr. Holden, whose body has been lying outside for days. While she's digging, a car pulls up. Shocked, Liz hides behind some bushes. A woman steps out, Helen very much alive. Liz approaches her and introduces herself as Aiden's friend. Inside the house, Helen is horrified to see Aiden tied up. She immediately accuses Liz of abducting him, but Liz fires back, accusing Helen of abandoning a mentally ill husband who desperately needed help. She claims Helen never cared and only returned to reclaim the house. Liz also reveals that Aiden killed the doctor during a breakdown and Helen's neglect played a part. When Helen pulls out her phone to call the police, Liz knocks her unconscious with a flashlight. Liz drags Helen outside and buries her alive next to the doctor, covering the grave with the dead dog's body to disguise it. The next morning, Liz brings Aiden breakfast. He mentions hearing Helen's voice in a dream, but Liz tells him it's just his imagination and hands him his pills. A moment later, he notices Helen's car outside and panics. Liz calmly explains that the vehicle has been there since she arrived, and he simply didn't register it while he was unmedicated. Though uncertain, he accepts her explanation. Liz suggests they dispose of the car so he can move on emotionally. When he agrees, she unties his hands completely. During the afternoon, they load the car onto the tow truck and head into town. Along the road, they encounter a police checkpoint. An officer asks them about Dr. Holden, who has been missing recently. Aiden hesitates, recalling seeing the doctor weeks earlier, but Liz jumps in and says Holden was their family physician and they haven't spoken to him in a while. When asked her name, she introduces herself as Aiden's wife, Helen. Later, they are shown repairing and renovating the farmhouse together. Their relationship blossoms and they sleep together on the living room floor. Weeks pass and Liz, now pregnant, moves comfortably around the house. Two detectives eventually show up, asking for Aiden regarding Helen.
We're investigating the disappearance of Helen Margaret Price.
Well, he's not here.
You won't mind if we have a look around?
Do I have a choice?
Liz nervously allows them to search. Outside, they find a patch of disturbed soil and begin digging, only to uncover a dog's paw. Relieved, Liz watches them leave. In the closing moments, time has moved forward. Liz has given birth to a baby boy. She snaps photos of Aiden holding the child, and the small family appears content. Aiden wonders how the newborn has red hair, when neither of them does. Liz casually says it must be a recessive gene. He accepts her explanation, unaware that the baby's biological father is actually Dan, her brother-in-law from her old life.